To everybody who's been liking the videos so far, we thank y'all. You guys liking the videos has kind of helped us start to grow the channel even more, so we appreciate it. To those who have not, please, we ask you, hit the like button before you even watch this video. It helps us grow the channel, helps people learn about us, and allows us to make more great content like this. So that's all we got. Thank you for helping us grow this channel. Hit the like button right now, and on with the show. Super duty tough work, folks. I am here with Mayor Emily Keller, Hagerstown.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent.
Yeah, you look very mayoral in your office, I gotta say.
Thank you.
Yeah, me and Emily are friends. We go way back to like 2004. Plague on Wheels tour, Idea and Abilities, I think.
Yes.
I think I might have met you at with B of them, and then Big Mike, and then we heard you could sing back then, and I think that was how we originally met. You singing, and we just kept in contact, and so it's been dope to see Emily. We're Facebook friends, get into politics, and then now she's officially the mayor, of Hagerstown, and it's just amazing, So today we want to talk about, how her journey, how she became the mayor, and it's quite a journey, especially for someone as young as her, to kind of get into politics. And I hope this is an inspiring story to everyone. And we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
We got you stuck off the realness, the most infamous, you heard of us. Official podcast murderers, the show comes equipped with viewpoints to share. Grown man ideas for all those who care and want to grow, so go ahead and download. Every single week with a brand new episode. You're not alone in this world, cousin, so we share information and honest discussion and keep repping a culture like we supposed to. They spread gossip, but they never come close to. I can hear it inside their tone. They talk about the industry, but never left their home. You get laced up with bullet points and such, plus empowering topics that they never would touch. You can put your whole network against the team, but Super Duty Tough Work's the MVP. Most valuable podcast on MP3. Priceless info, but all of it's free. So take these words home and think them through. Super Duty Tough Work is coming at you. You are now listening to Super Duty Tough Work with your host, Blueprint. Raw and uncut. Adult conversations. No shucking, no jiving, and no bullshit.
All right, folks, we are back. Super Duty Tough Work, Blueprint here with Mayor Emily Keller. We want to talk a little bit about your backstory and just, did you ever have any political aspirations growing up?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. In fact, if you would have told me like 7-8 years ago I would be in politics, I would have told you were crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. 'Cause I don't ever remember you talking about it back in the day.
No.
I'm like, this is kind of wild. She's doing it though.
Yeah, I had opened a business 7 years ago and started getting involved in the community and really seeing how things went. And so often we focused on national politics, and being a small business owner, I started realizing that the changes that were made at a local level are so important. And when you looked at our local government here in Hagerstown and Washington County, it was like old white man, old white man, old white man, old white man.
Yeah.
The same people who'd been in office all the time. And I thought, man, we need women. First of all, we need younger people and diversity. So I thought if I could run and inspire people to pay attention and inspire young people to get involved, it could kind of change the narrative.
Yeah. So did you have any friends who were into politics prior to this?
No, not really. I mean, I knew like a couple of the former mayor and I did business together, like at my insurance agency and things like that, but not really at all. And something that really hit home to me was the opioid heroin epidemic. And my best friend at the time was struggling with substance use. And I looked around locally, and where I'm from on the map in Hagerstown, Maryland, we're the perfect storm, and our numbers were terrible and overdoses were just increasing and increasing. And I thought, no one's doing anything about it. And I watched the system constantly fail her. So I told her I wanted to run and give her a voice. And that was truly the platform that I spoke of the entire time I campaigned for city council. I talked about the opioid epidemic and how changes need to be made. And it resonated with people because all of us know someone who's struggling with drug addiction. And Ashley ended up, unfortunately, overdosing and dying during my first campaign. And it really it was that fire that lit the spark that I couldn't stop now. I had to win, but I not only had to win, I had to go out and change and keep my promise to give her a voice. So, I kind of tried to turn tragedy into triumph.
Yeah. So when you talk about running for city council, that's still a significant step. How were you ever intimidated by it?
No, there's not a lot of things that scare me other than crickets. I'm terrified of crickets.
It's so random, but
Yeah.
you can hear them coming though.
Oh, man,
they're
they
around.
scare me. Oh, they hop and
Yeah.
But no, I mean, there were times I get nervous public speaking, and of course, your first couple debates, you don't know about the tax structure of the city or how the water and wastewater department works and all these things you don't really think about. But I just try to be honest. And if someone asked me a question I didn't know the answer to, I didn't BS it. I just said, I don't know the answer, but I'll work hard to find it. So,
Do you think that honesty kind of resonated with people more because you took that approach?
I think so. I would be vulnerable when I needed to be. And especially in the substance use world and speaking out about my friend and saying hey, we need to have this conversation as a community, as a family, stigma is not okay. And I think because I allowed myself to be vulnerable and share that side of I just went through the most devastating time of my life. Let's all get together and work it, that people, it resonated with people. Because I'm just me, I'm just a normal person. It's weird when people call me mayor, Madam Mayor and stuff. No, please come on, call me Emily. I'm just normal.
Yeah. Well, you got a couple years to adjust to it. This is officially your first month? Is this officially your first month?
Second month,
Second
yes.
month. Okay, yeah. I'm going to talk to you in 10 months. You're going to be oh yeah, I'm Mayor Emily Keller. You'll be used to it by then. Yeah. So when you were going through that learning process, because for most people, getting into politics is kind of, they study political science and then they go and study all these other fields and they major in that, and then they seek to have, they try to get a job or internship for some party. You kind of went the opposite way. My question is, how did you kind of learn about those things? How much studying were you doing from the time you decided to enter into politics?
Yeah. Well, I really tried to reach out to all of our department heads. I met with the chief of police. I met with the chief of fire. I met with our finance director. I met with the city administrator and kind of picked their brain and learn. And then as soon as I got elected, I did ride-alongs with all the different departments. So I toured the water and wastewater facilities. I did a ride-along with the fire department. I did a 12-hour overnight shift with the police and rode with them and just tried to see firsthand perspectives. And then ask a lot of questions. I asked a lot of questions, probably to the point where city staff was please stop emailing me. But it's definitely a lot to learn, but it's been exciting. And I've lived here my whole life. So as far as the city itself, I'm very familiar with.
Yeah. I would imagine that, sometimes I think about it you do have to be prepared to debate. You do have to be able to present to regular people in your city council meetings. And I was how much of that is you're allowed to go back and learn things on the job? Or is there an expectation that, hey, you're here, you're supposed to know it all?
No, we're really blessed here to have a staff that is very open to answering questions. So if there's something I don't know, I just reach out. Our city engineer is incredible. So if someone's asking me about a road paving schedule or something, I reach out to the experts that understand that. So there's definitely a learning curve and it's a lot to learn, but it's more just dedicating and trusting the experts and reaching out to them.
Yeah. So I would like to also talk about what was your approach for your first run? In terms of getting the word out, were you knocking on doors? Were you doing TV, Facebook? What was your approach to kind of getting the word out about who you were?
I knocked on a lot of doors, a lot. I reached out to one of the congressmen at the time, his staff members, who had been really heavily involved in campaigns. And I pretty much asked to go to coffee and said, tell me everything I need to know. What do I need to do? And I just listened, because here's people who have been actively involved in a congressional campaign. So, I had information cards. I went out and knocked on doors, pounded the pavement. I did a lot of media marketing with Facebook and Instagram. And I think really in this area, that election was the first time that people had really used social media. And, when you're talking about people, and not to be stereotypical, but 50, 60, 70 that were running for politics, they weren't really using that outlet. So it was a big advantage to me. But it was a lot of boots on the ground. And I was lucky to have a lot of volunteers. We would go out and take walking lists and kind of divide and conquer every weekend. And then as it got closer to the election, even some weeknights.
Yeah. Were you ever, how did you kind of wrap your mind around like the fundraising part of it? Because, clearly, you can be a great candidate, but, a lot of campaigns kind of fall short because of funding, and funding seems to be why many people drop out. How did you handle the funding part of it?
It's definitely awkward, because everyone wants to ask, how can I help? And the answer has to be money. And how awkward is that?
It's real.
It's the honest truth, though. So you just have to get over that uncomfortable part and just ask. And I was really blessed. A lot of the local business owners here, I would sit down and talk to them, and I think they supported the fact that I was a small business owner and I know the struggles. So people were very, very generous. Yeah, which was nice. So we ended up being able to buy everything we needed to buy. Even as far as T-shirts, I didn't sell them as a fundraiser. I gave them out, because I thought, I'm asking for someone to wear my name on a shirt. I don't want them to have to buy it. Yeah. So I was lucky to be able to cover those expenses.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when it came for your city council run, like, how confident were you the night of the election?
So I had to be top 5. In the primary, I had to be top 10. And I ended up coming in 3rd, which I was shocked by. That was like, that was awesome. Yeah. So there's a council member who I serve with now, Council Member Alshire, who always won. He was the top vote getter all the time. People love him. He's brilliant. So I was like hell bent on beating him. I wanted him to be number 2, but I really wanted to be number 1. And I felt good going into election night, working the polls that day, the positivity I was receiving from people, and like people yelling and cheering and saying, I voted for you. It was a really, really cool experience. So I did end up being top vote getter, and I like cried like a baby for hours.
That's amazing, though. How does your family feel about it the first time? Were they just shocked, or I guess were they just there for the whole ride and they're like, we can't believe this?
They were there the whole time. My mom hates it secretly. I mean, she's very supportive of me, but she's also very concerned, especially in today's political environment. Like right before the election here, she kept calling and saying, are you safe? And I said, Mom, no one is targeting the mayor of Hagerstown. We're okay. But still, as a mom, she was like very concerned. So she gets worried about things like that, but they are incredibly supportive. And my daughter, she's 13, so she's got to experience this whole thing with me.
Yeah, I imagine the kids at school are like, wait a minute, your mom's the mayor. Has that hit her yet?
Yes, it has.
That's pretty cool. She can't act up, though. She can't act up. It's cool.
No. Well, I always joke with her because I know all the police officers in Hagerstown because, that's part of city government. So I'm always like, wait till you're 16. You're not going to get away with anything.
Facts. Yeah, it's not going to be so cool when she's 16. She's like, I can't go anywhere. Yeah. I'd like to talk about so with city council, that's where, how many total members are on city council?
5.
5 total members.
Yeah.
What was your biggest lesson working with those people?
Sure. My lesson with working with government in general would be things are not what they seem. Like there's so much hard work. I know people think like politicians just sit around and do nothing, but I can tell you on a local level, people work really hard. Yeah. I think, and then working with people, our first council, we had 2 Democrats, an independent, and 2 Republicans.
Oh, wow.
So partisan issues really don't happen on a local level. We're talking about potholes and things like that. But it was very interesting to have those 5 different perspectives. And if we didn't agree, we could teach each other our different opinions. And I think for me, that was a lot. It was a awesome lesson to see. We see so much division in politics. And I served with a man who's a Republican that if we talked about national politics, we would agree on nothing. Yeah. But when it comes to local politics and helping our hometown and supporting small business, we can always find common ground. And I think that was kind of the most important lesson I learned, that we really are more alike than we're different.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
man. So okay, so we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about your mayoral run and that whole experience. So we'll take a break, and we'll be right back. While I got y'all here, let me remind y'all about a few things we got back in stock on Weightless.net right now. First being the King No Crown movie DVD. This is a double DVD, deluxe DVD. One DVD, first DVD is the movie. Second is all the extra features. That's back in stock. It was out of stock for a while. This is my first movie. Came out in 2017. Free version, which is the clean versions on YouTube. This is the unedited version, dirty version, I guess, if you will, which is available now on Weightless.net. Other thing, 10 Traits of Successful Hip Hop Artists. This book came out about 2 to 3 months ago. So my latest book. This book breaks down the habits, the traits that you see across some of the dopest artists in hip hop. This is my 4th book. And so far, it's been my most successful, amazing feedback on it. This book is here. If you missed out the first time, it's like $14 on the store plus shipping. We got deals that come with bookmarks with it, free stickers, autographs, all of that stuff on Weightless.net. That's in stock. Other thing, more importantly, we've reissued the Two-Headed Monster vinyl. This vinyl is it was red on the first pressing. This next pressing is yellow. This is just now hitting. So if you haven't got it, head to Weightless.net and get it. Sold out the first time in like 2-3 months. It's doing pretty good this time, but get it if you missed it the first time. It's on yellow vinyl. Comes with a download card. Also being restocked, has been reimpressed, is the Two-Headed Monster vinyl right here. Clear vinyl, Two-Headed Monster album. Same thing. It sold out pretty fast in 2018. So we just repressed it here. But you can get that at Weightless.net. And there's prices, special bundle prices for all of this stuff. Now, what's already been in stock, which you probably already have if you don't, just so you don't know, King No Crown. King No Crown vinyl. It's red vinyl. King No Crown is double vinyl, though. 2 pieces of double vinyl. But yeah, that's here. That's the record with Persevere on it. Dope record. Great Ideas Never Dies on this record as well. But that's here. And then the last thing, which some of you may have or may not, is Vigilante Genesis EP, which is me and Aesop Rock on the production. This is available on vinyl too. But this one is blue vinyl. I ain't gonna open this up just to show you blue vinyl. Trust me, it's blue. But this comes with all the vocal tracks on one side and the instrumentals, which are produced by Aesop Rock on the B side. So that's it. If you got this stuff already, thank you. If you don't, if you want to support, go to Weightless.net. Pick up your copy of any of these things on vinyl, any of the books, the movie. We have apparel as well. And thank you for your time. See y'all soon. Peace. All right, Super Duty Tough Work. We are back with Mayor Emily Keller. Yes, this is a hip hop podcast, but it's about being your best self-improvement. And I can't think of too many better examples than Emily, who we used to kick it with in Philly at Idea and Abilities and Rhymesayers shows. And to see her go from where she was then to now, I remember one night in Philly, we went to see Questlove DJ. I don't know if you remember this night. you were living on South Street at the time, and we walked. You were like, Questlove's DJing. I'm like, we're going. I think we had an off day or something.
Yes.
and we walked up to the door, and I was behind you, and then we got in the and I think I was looking for my money, and you were just like, no, come on, I got you. And then we went in, and I was like, let me pay you back that cover, and you were like, we didn't have to pay to get in. I said, what happened? She said, the girl at the door was like, anybody who brings blooper in here don't have to pay. You remember that?
Yes. And then I sang your hooks to you all night long.
Yes,
when we were
yes.
walking out.
Yes. Yeah, that was a good night. Yeah, that was a good night in Philly.
I think I was like 19. I wasn't even old enough to be in the club.
Yo, Questlove killed it. We was dancing all night in there. That place, like the
Yes.
lights came on and the dance floor was still packed. Like no one
Yes.
was leaving. Yeah. But yeah, it's amazing to see you do this. So let's talk about your run for mayor, because what made you go from city council to thinking, okay, I can actually have a shot at that? Was there anything that you saw that made you think you had a legit shot before running?
Well, I felt a lot of community support. People were reaching out and asking, but really the deciding factor for me was my daughter. She was 12 at the time, and there's never been a female mayor.
Okay.
And she knew that. And she was like, you got to run. You got to run. You got to be the first girl mayor.
Nice.
And I did feel a lot of community support. I was concerned because I had to either rerun for council, where I would have to be top 5, or I had to run for mayor and I had to win outright.
Yeah.
And, that's a lot of pressure. I felt like I was doing a lot of good work. I didn't want to give up, but I was inspired to run for mayor. I thought it was an important lesson for her. And I think representation matters. When you walk down City Hall and you don't see anyone that looks like you, that matters. We have to look like our leaders. So I wanted to do it and inspire not just women, but, everyone. So
yeah. So were you running against someone who was an incumbent, or was it 2 new candidates running?
2 new candidates. Yeah.
Okay.
In the primary, there was 3 of us. There was another woman named Andy Overton, and then a man named Mike Barnes. And it was me and Mike after the primary.
Nice.
And we were 2 very, very different candidates. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how spirited were the debates then for the mayor?
Well, COVID kind of screwed everything up for that kind of stuff, because we only did one in-person forum. It wasn't technically a debate, but it was for the Chamber of Commerce. And it went really well. I mean, I was nervous going into it. It's 7:00 in the morning. I'm the world's worst morning person. But, a couple answers in, and I was like, okay, I feel confident about this. So that was good. The rest of everything else was like this online, which is always a strange dynamic, especially when there's multiple people that are answering questions. And so it was a different experience this time for sure than it was in 2016.
Yeah. And as far as a mayoral run, was there a different set of information you needed to know? Whereas you said, city, you were basically doing, process, infrastructure, roads, but it seems like mayor, it's more of a little bit more macro. Is that true? Did you have to learn a different set of things to prepare?
I didn't. I was really lucky, since I had already been involved in the city for 4 years. Not saying I know everything by any means, but, I know a little about a lot of what's going on. So it was more, the questions are different a little bit in the forums, and the mayor's kind of the face of the city. So people want to see that you can sell the city and that you make people want to come here and spend time here or move here and live here. Got to be able to communicate to businesses and try to get them to locate here. And it's really more about being the face and the positive voice of the city, which is kind of what I ran on.
Yeah. So leading up to election day then, I mean, how was your fundraising then compared to your council fundraising? Was that was it promising going in? Did you think you had a legit shot?
It was. It was hard at first. I was kind of freaking out because I filed to run in January. I did a big announcement. Our congressman here, Congressman Trone, did my introduction, which was super exciting. We had a big in-person kickoff. I started raising money, and then COVID hits, and then we're quarantined, and then businesses started struggling, and people were struggling. People were losing their job. And how uncomfortable is it to ask people for money when unemployment rates are skyrocketing?
Yeah.
So I was very blessed to still have a lot of support. I was able to do one in-person fundraiser right before the shutdown. And then I just did a lot of online donations. I set up a site and would every once in a while just put out a video and say, hey, it's uncomfortable asking for money, especially during this time, but we got to win this campaign. And thankfully, people were very generous.
Yeah, that's amazing. So now, how does your daughter feel now that you've actually did what she asked you to do?
She's happy I did it. It's pretty cool. She's 13, so she's in that like weirdo teenage, kind of isolated phase, but she'll come here with me to City Hall. And when I have meetings on Tuesdays, I'll go down the council chambers and we'll have our council meeting. Later that night, I'll see she was like making TikToks to post from my office.
Nice.
So yeah, she likes it though. I think it's been a lot for her to get used to. And for people always talk to her because I post about Layla a lot and I just share my life, what's going on. So we'll be out in public and a complete stranger will be like, hey, Layla, saw, so-and-so or saw about your haircut. So, and she's a little like, ew, that's weird.
Yeah. So you say you've been on the job for 2 months right now. Mm-hmm. Is it more challenging than city council? How does it compare in terms of the challenge?
Yeah, I think it's more challenging because even though the council, we have a strong council form of government. So in order for me to get anything done, I have to have at least 3 council members that agree. Yeah. But because the mayor's kind of the face of the city, I think more people reach out to me with any issues they have or ideas. And even on council, we got a lot of emails and it's constant interaction. But like yesterday, for example, I got here at, 9 a.m. and from 11 until 8 o'clock at night, I had back-to-back Zoom calls with people and one in-person meeting. So Tuesday is when we have our meeting. So I always work from City Hall Tuesdays and try to schedule as much city stuff as possible on that day. But it's a lot and it's a juggling act, but I'm happy that I did it.
Yeah. It's got to be a good feeling so far.
It is.
Yeah. So for the people out there, I think there are a lot of people, especially people who are younger or they may be feeling sort of a sense of almost apathy or maybe like politics is like maybe something that they could never, like it's out of reach. What would you say to the people who think that they may say, well, I don't know if I could make a difference? What would you say to those people?
I would say that you absolutely can. I know I said it earlier, I would have never thought that I would be in this position, but I found something that I was passionate about and an issue that I wanted to help change. And I just took it and ran with it. So I would say, do it. Just be yourself. I'm always trying to be unapologetically myself. If you don't like me, that's fine. But just tell the truth, go out and do it and put in the hard work. Right now, especially in this country, we're at such a turning point. We just saw the first woman vice president elected. Just so many changes are being made. And I think younger people are finally paying attention. And I think that's exactly what we need because we need women leaders. We need Black leaders. We need representation really does matter. And I encourage anyone to go out and run. Just do it. Put in the work and do it. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, well, that's all I had today. I want to thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is great.
Easy.
Yeah, hey, I'm not gonna hit you as with no crazy gotcha questions. I'm just like, it's like I actually
like the tabloids.
Yeah. Well, now the easy stuff's out the way. Let me pull up this dirt I got on you, Mayor.
Yes.
I don't want to do you like that. Nah, it's an inspiring story. So where can people find you at if they want to find you online?
So I am Emily Keller for Hagerstown. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I even have a TikTok. Okay. My 13-year-old taught me. And then HagerstownMD.org is our city website. You can go on there and there's contact information. But all my cell phone, all that stuff's public. So if anyone has questions or wants to reach out, I'm always available.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today, Emily.
Thank you for listening to Super Duty Tough Work. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Follow the podcast on SoundCloud. Peace.
Shoot, I got styles already that's more complex that nobody know about. I mean, Super Duty Tough Work.